Hey guys, what's up? Roshi is here. This is the video for a new player's first forge. I go through my process and how I go about winning and completing my first forge. I go over choices, some mechanics of how the forge works, and just some tips. And I go through all the games so you can see from start to finish how I go about doing it. I figured this would be more useful, but I figured this would be a more useful approach so that you can kind of see how it can be done, and then take some of the ideas and what I'm doing and apply it to your own forges. Obviously, every forge is going to be different. It's a dynamic game, but hopefully this has some value to you if you're a newer player or just want to see what the new forge process is like and the new player process. So that'll be in this video. And okay, yeah, so I want to update this list, and now that we've got some cards from playing that first event, and I have some dust, and I've got some gold, what we're going to do, there's a few cards we want to start working towards. If you can't afford to craft them just yet, don't worry about it. We don't need them for the deck. But this guy right here, he's one of the first rares we're going to want to take and like put in our deck. Your other Grenadine have +1 and put a Firebomb into the enemy deck. This just synergizes so well with our list. It's something we're going to want, so let's go ahead and grab this. We have the dust to afford it. Let's go ahead and cut Fury Blade. And have to make room somewhere. Let's cut a... We'll go ahead and trim away a few of these Relentless Pursuits, because Cool Scrounger kind of buffs as well. So that's fine. And so we're going to create unowned cards, and I can go ahead and create these. And cool, so now I have these cards, which is sweet. And there's one other card I might... Is there anything else we want here? See, sort by power here. This is a rare. Okay, this is a rare, so we're not going to grab this. And... okay, yeah, so there's not really anything else I really want. We could potentially craft Shugo Standard, and that would be pretty good. And Granite Coin is another good option. So let's craft Granite Coin here. And... Monument's another option, but we don't really want that. And I don't actually want to dilute the deck with too many of these, but we can add a few. And this is a card we might work to eventually, but as a rare, it kind of goes against our budget goal. So we're going to just replace some Fire Sigils with these cards, and maybe that'll help us let's actually add one more Shugo Standard. And what this does is, when we're at 5 power, we get Shugo Tactic, which gives one of our units +4/+2 and Overwhelm. So if we draw way too many power, we can turn these into like spells. So this will help you not flood out as hard. So let's go ahead and create these. Yeah, Fire Etchings is good, Sleffer. So Sleffer in the comments brought up Fire Etchings, and this is a card I would potentially consider, but for the sake of keeping the deck as simple as possible and not requiring a market, I opted out of doing it. I'm not sorting by power. Let's go ahead and turn that filter off. We're going to type Fire Etchings. And what this card does... There we go. Oops, I don't want it. So what this does, it's an uncommon, and we draw a sigil from our deck, and if we've got 4 fire, we can exhaust one of our guys and go into our market and grab a card. And that's actually a really powerful effect, and there's a lot of cool things we can do with that. You can put like a one-of, like, big spaghetti burn spell in your market. You could put like, some good like fringe cards that you might not always want, but you want sometimes in your market, we could go ahead and do this. Let me see just how much this would cost. But for now, I'm gonna go ahead and save this deck off and set it to the side. Let me just make sure. Yeah, we're at 26 power, so I'm gonna cut back down. Now we're at 25 power, good. And we're gonna back out here. And let's rename this to Grenadine version 2. And we'll clone this deck here. And we'll actually make version 3. So this is maybe the next step. So we were at where we were before, but we could add fire etchings here. So we'll add 4 of these, and this will give us power early on, which is cool. And it'll also give us access to some really, really good top end, like stuff to like close out games once we've kind of stalled out, but we've done a ton of damage to them. So what I'm looking for here is just some cool, decent uncommons that can win us the game. So we're going to start with a card called Flash Fire. And this lets me deal damage to my enemy equal to my fire influence. So this is a great first card. This can do a lot of damage sometimes if you've drawn a good bit of power, and can be really a good way to close out a game. Moving along, and don't feel obligated to craft stuff just to fill out your market or even build this version just yet. Don't worry about it. You can always wait till you get the cards. You don't need to be playing the perfectly optimized version of this deck. You'll be able to win just fine without that. I'm actually going to sort by uncommon and common, just to make this a little easier. And if I click crafting here, I can see all the cards in my faction that I could potentially grab. We're just looking for some stuff that might be cool or fun to play, and it doesn't cost too much. So this is a good option right here. Oni Battle Driver. This can be a cool way to close out games, so we'll set it aside for now on the market and see if we still want it later. Moving along. One other card I think we'll want, it's, let me just make sure it's not a rare first. So yeah, this card kills attachments, and you can use this to pop relics and stuff, and we can actually kill more than one attachment with it. So if they're playing like big relic weapons in their face, it can be nice to have a card like Boar. Now this isn't the only option. It looks like this is from a campaign. So we'd have to play through this campaign to get this card, but there's alternate options that we can play instead. So we could just play Ruin. We could play something like Grenarender, but another card I want here. The one interesting thing is the difference between an attachment is basically any sort of attachment, any curse, any enchantment, any relic weapon, whereas a Caleb's Intervention would only be able to hit relics, but it's a little more versatile. I think for our version, we're gonna go ahead and play. There's a Grenadine, and he's an uncommon, and he sacrifices to kill stuff. And this actually has a little bit of synergy with Disassembler, and we can also just play it as a guy. And then next up, there's an Oni we kind of want. And this guy is also an uncommon. And whenever something with Endurance or Lifesteal takes damage, we kill it, which is pretty cool. And then, last but not least, we want Edict of Shavka. So it can't be stopped by Aegis, so if they play a big dude with Aegis, we might not be able to stop it, but with this, we can. And it'll either deal 1 damage, or if it's the Justice or Primal unit, will deal 5 damage. And this is perfect. We don't always want this effect, but when we do, we really want it. So we're going to go ahead and add this to the market, and we need to make a few cuts to make this work, so we're going to remove the rest of these Relentless Pursuits here. And see what else we want to cut. We can trim down a Seer and a Flame Blast to kind of get there. And, oh, I clicked on the wrong card. And I can adjust these cards on the fly. So this is a much easier way to see your whole deck. If I click on this number, it increases. And if I click on the card itself, it removes. So once you've kind of built your deck, you can use this view to get a whole picture. See the cost and just see everything broken down, see the power allotment, which in our case is all fire. But yeah, it can be very helpful. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Hit back, create unknown cards. And this will cost us a cool 800, which is exactly all of our dust. But boom, now we have a version 3. So all of these will be linked, but in the guide. But for now, we're gonna let these sit. We got a free forge, so we're gonna hop into forge here and do our first forge. Okay, so you don't have to go down the same path I go down here. One of the things about you don't like if you opted to go down your own path and play your own deck to get here, that is perfectly fine. The Grenadine deck also, is fine on its own. We're not really going to need to make very many changes to it in the future. You could just play it exactly as it was, and you could get wins with it. So from now, my goal is to when I'm picking these cards, I get to keep these cards forever. So I'm looking for cards that I might want to play with. So for me personally, that might be different from what you want to play with. But so in the Forge, it's actually not too hard to get wins against the bots. So don't worry too much. I mean, make sure your cards are at least half decent. But our goal here is to just kind of get cards that we want to play with. Maybe in the future, maybe you think the card's cool. So for me, I really like Elder Astrologer, and it's a cool shadow card. Lord Ragnar's cool. He has some synergy with units and relic weapons and ultimates. But his abilities kind of fringe. And then like Peacekeeper's prod, summon, stun an enemy unit. I'm gonna go with this Elder Astrologer. Give me some 50 Shades of Shadow, but you know, you can pick whichever faction you want to go into. If you see a card you think's cool and you want it, go down that path. For me, I'm gonna go down this path, and so once I've picked a faction or a Keller, if you're from Magic, I'm gonna see options from two kind of companion factions, and then an option from this faction. So if I could pick something I like, or I can stick with the main faction, and it'll let me do that for a good while before I'm forced to actually pick a different faction. So that's what we're gonna do, is we're gonna stick in Shadow for now. And moving along, I've got some other options here, but I like this relic weapon, so I'm just gonna stick with Shadow, and maybe wait for some better options here. And yeah, I like Torrent of Filth. This is going to be highly personalized. I'm going through my thought process and what I would want, but that's gonna be different for you. You're gonna have different choices. It'll never be the same. So I recommend you just pick what you like and just kind of flow with it. And if it doesn't work out, well, you can always come back and try again. So, hey, it's Subi. Thank you so much for the follow. But yeah, we're gonna take Torrent of Filth here. And yeah, I'm not enthused by any of these other options, so we'll take Devour. Sack a unit, draw 2, it's pretty solid. So here we go. Pack 6, and I'm forced to pick something else. So if there's a faction at this point you want to go into, now's your chance to also pick that. You'll see only cards from that faction. So for me, I think we will go ahead and take Fire. Our first deck was Fire anyway, so we're going to take this Might Weaver. And now we're locked into Fire and Shadow. So from here, I'm just going to pick stuff that I think is semi-decent. I'll go ahead and take this Eager Deputy. Plunder's a pretty cool effect. Yeah, once again, Eager Deputy, Plunder's pretty cool. Now I got some more options. We already have a playset of Volatile Grenadine, so maybe we'll take this one since we don't have this. And we could also take Sewer Crocodile, but we don't really have any ways. I guess we have a few ways to play stuff on their turn. And like I said, this is where you get into the nitty gritty where you kind of have to decide what you want. I'm going to take the Crocodile here just because, but we'll see what happens. This card's super solid, so is Death Strike. I think we're going to take the Dark Blade Cutpurse just because I want this card. But actually, you know what? We'll take Death Strike. I believe the acronym is Bombs, Removal, and I forget the rest, but bombs are like really big, splashy cards that win you the game, and then removal is it's like the break system. Am I getting that right? Does anyone remember the name? I don't play limited very often, but there's a system where you're supposed to like have like a hierarchy of which order you pick cards, and it's supposed to go like bombs, removal, then something, something, something. I don't remember the others, but removal is the second, and I remember that, so we're gonna take removal. And then Lurking Brute or Shavka Vangal, both are good. Okay, Ecstasy's coming through. It's bombs, removal, evasion, aggro, dudes. So it's bread. Okay, it's the bread system. Cool. This is why chat's here. So we're just picking stuff we think is cool. I think this is cool. I've been talking a lot. My throat's gone. Alright, so just continuing on with the stuff that we think is cool theme. Dark Finder's pretty neat cards, we'll take that. And here's some removal, we'll take this. This is also pretty good, but I think I'm just going to take the Pack Conjuring here. And then Pledge is a cool effect. This lets us, if it's in our opening hand, we can play it as a power. And stuff like this will make you have more consistent games, because you're more likely to not get like stuck on power. So we'll take this. Then some good options here. We can take Touch of Force. This is a cool card. We can take Rust Machine. I'm going to take Touch of Force. It's pretty neat. Once again, just stuff like this Vara's Favor giving us power. It'll make sure we don't have any dead hands. We can also use this Rampage pretty well, so I think we'll go ahead and take Rampage, but kind of a pick your own poison kind of deal. And then this Bane Wolf is a super cool way to close out a game, so we'll take this. I don't really like Towering Arachnid. The fact that you have to sack a unit to plunder is kind of hard, so we're going to take Midnight Hunt here. And let's see what else we want. Assault Shield's pretty decent. We'll take this. Use it as removal. And Silver Blade Reaper is pretty good as well. And let's see. Gun Down, more removal. We'll take it. Then Red Mask Warrior is pretty cool. Scheme is kind of a really clunky card, so we're gonna not, like, you've noticed that it keeps it keeps scheming to give me scheme, but we will not fall for their schemes, and we will be scheming elsewhere, so we are de-scheming this pick. And once again, trying to sell me on this scheme, and we're once again not buying it. And, okay, this is crazy. So I'm gonna get into some... At the end of the day, if you pick a legendary, it can be disenchanted to create any rare you want. Or you can keep it and play the legendary. So in this pack, I actually have some interesting choices here. Severin is just a really cool bomb, and a lot of decks like to play Severin. Worldpyre is also a pretty competitive card. So I would actually be happy taking either of these cards. It's up to you to kind of decide what you prefer. As a primarily extremely greedy player, I'm going to take the legend, but just keep in mind that just because there's a legend in your pool, not all cards are created equal. So there's plenty of guides online. I'll hope to maybe make one eventually, but it's a big undertaking to just go through every card and rate if it can be disenchanted or not. That might be a little beyond the scope of this video. But for now, I think Worldpyre is cool. On my main account, I've got 4 premium Worldpyres crafted, so we're going to take Worldpyre. Alright, hey guys, I'm here to show you my budget deck. We're going to start off with Worldpyre. Anyway, let's play. Alright, welcome to my budget account. On this budget account, we're playing Worldpyre Control. Just kidding, but no, for real, that's what we're doing. Yeah, that first hand only had 1 power in it, so we mulliganed it away. If you're not staying as hydrated as me, Bull God, I don't know what you're doing with your life. Hydrate or dihydrate? Oh, snap. Overlay is over off. I guess I can't do that right now. This bot is just flooding us right now. I need to play that, staying alive, staying alive, staying alive. I mean, we might just die. One Direwolf Digital is just like, welcome to the game. Only 1 drops. Get wrecked. So I can play this spell at a fast speed, so we're gonna do that. Alright, so I have a lot of different options here. I could shrink the Scaly Gron. I could kill one of these soldiers, or I could kill Yetis. In general, Yetis tend to be more of an actual tribe with more support. So we're gonna kill the Yeti, just in case they're playing any Yeti tribe stuff. And this card actually has Revenge, so it shuffles into the top 10 cards of our deck, and then we're hoping to just get lucky and rip it. That is very unfortunate. Hey, we got the power. So we have a few options here. I'm gonna play this Elder Astrologer. We just need something to start blocking. And then hopefully we can get to keep our guy. And then we can use Darkfire to gain some life back. Opponent's just not giving us a break. So yeah, I'm gonna play this Darkfire. I gain 4 life and I prevent 2 attacks, so 2 damage coming in. So yeah, Inferno Zealot isn't really the best play here. But we don't really have a ton of options. I don't really know how I feel about gun downing Scaly Gron, so we're just gonna play this Zealot. There might be something else we need to kill later, so we'll just do this for now. And yeah, we'll go ahead and block this guy. Opponent just opting not to attack here. I guess they were trying to block, but we'll take it. It's free real estate. And this weapon will actually clutch out the game for us here. I'm gonna start dealing with these small guys. Ooh! Hopefully they don't draw any more stonks, because we're at 2. So yeah, we're gonna play our Bane Wolf here. We're just trying to stabilize this game. That's kind of scary, but our guy's better, so... unfortunately, have to... I think this turn we're gonna be using Gun Down here on the 1/2 bird. And we'll go ahead and play this Seed of Chaos in case we need the power later. Nice, so now we can shrink one of their guys. I think we'll go ahead and get this village watch out of the way. And I'm kind of afraid to start attacking, so we're not going to do that yet. We're just going to end the turn here. I want to live. I think our deck has a better late game than our opponent, so we're not really in a huge rush to win the game. While we don't want to take forever to do it, we definitely don't need to win the game like this second, so.
Feel the wind on your mane.
We will play it safe here. And actually, if we win long enough, our opponent might just draw all the cards in their deck, and then that'll kill them. Alright, so I've got blockers for their stuff. I'm going to go ahead and start attacking with this Red Mask Warrior. Since we can buff the crap out of them, we're not really risking anything here, and he doesn't block that great anyway, so this can be our way to start attacking and getting some damage in and hopefully closing the gap here. So now if we do some math here, 7, 14, 18, we got some pretty good damage here. It's still kind of risky to go all in, so I'm just going to attack with 1. And if we get him a little lower, maybe we can try and all in this guy.
Almost there. Almost there.
Alright, so if we attack with this guy, we can give him +7, which is, what, 14? And then we can give it Overwhelm, which is 17 minus 1. So, if they just block with one of their Echo, or their Porters, that would be lethal here. But at the same time, if they block with, like, this guy, we just lose. So, I'm going to continue to play it safe here. We're just going to attack with this 4-1. And we'll end the turn after that. Cool, so we can use this to clear a blocker. And I'm going to go ahead and attack once again, just with this 4-1. And we'll end the turn there. And with that, we should have lethal here. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll attack with this guy and this guy. And even if they block, let's see, 7 plus 4, that's 11. So that is a lethal attack here. And we're still not risking anything. We'll let this happen. Well, not that we can do anything about it. And since they blocked with that, we'll go ahead and Midnight Hunt our pig. And if we rampage this, it'll actually fly over and do that extra damage. So this is some real good damage here. and should set us up to win. We'll play our Worldpyre. Why not? It's a very close game. Win or lose, we played it safe and conservative, but that's okay. And we'll go ahead and attack with all of our guys that are just to try and get lethal here. Even through any like stun effects or anything. And cool, we were able to win our first game of Forge. Now, if your Forge doesn't go as well, don't worry about it too much. You can always play more. Just like with Gauntlet, you can rank up your Forge all the way from Bronze to Master. So it goes Bronze, Silver, Gold, Diamond, and then Master. And that's a good way to get yourself some initial cards after our initial Grenadine deck, or whatever deck you decided to play at first. If it wasn't mine, sorry for your lot. No, I'm just kidding, but you know, you can use this to flesh out your collection a little bit, get some dust to make some other stuff.
We thrive where others falter.
Playing out our power. Since this wants to buff something, we'll go ahead and play this guy first. Definitely don't want to trade our flyer with their guy. And we'll actually go ahead and buff our flyer here and start attacking. Get a nice little clock going. This guy actually wins on defense as well, so nice defensive play there.
Time quickens.
So it's interesting, I can actually use this pump spell to, if we attack and they decide to block, we'll fly over their unit. So that's what we're going to go for here. And yeah, we'll do that. And not only are we going to kill their unit here, we're going to trample over for all the extra damage. I'm going to lose my weapon here, but we can slow down our opponent's ramp by doing this. And hopefully that gives us time to get more damage in.
It's written right here.
Our guy is unfortunately small now, so I don't want to waste a removal spell, like one of these good removal spells, on a 1/1. So we'll just attack with the 3/2 here, and we'll hold back. And I'll play a power, and I'll just pass the turn here. If they play a big minion, I can just Death Strike it. It's like they're opting to draw cards. I don't want to waste Death Strike on a 1-drop, so we'll just take our turn here. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and play this Astrologer. Buff our guy here. And I will actually go ahead and attack and let it trade in, and we'll just cash in this life.
Step back.
And it's kind of cool here, even though it's annoying having our units put back into our hand, since, you know, our unit gets buffed, actually, by this, we can actually play this and give our guy Overwhelm. And now we're attacking for some good damage here. And our guy gets stunned, so I was going to say let's give him double damage and then give one of our spells double damage. But since he's stunned, we'll hold off. We can do this at the end of their turn if we want to. And yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. We're going to give our Darkfire double damage. I'm not going to use it just yet. We'll actually just use Gun down here. And we'll attack. I'm going to play this power. Sometimes it's good to sandbag power, but other times it's not as important. So we're not going to here. But let's go ahead and attack here. And if this hits, that's actually lethal. So yeah, so we'll play Darkfire, and this will deal 10 damage to them because it has double damage. And that was our power wasn't as awful there, so we were able to pick up that win. Alright, I'll go ahead and keep this hand. I'm gonna keep this Inferno Zealot. We already have 3 power, so I could pledge it, but I think we'll be fine. We'll play the Reaper again.
Touch of shadow.
You aren't welcome here.
And unfortunately here, a little lacking on power. Hopefully we draw into some. Maybe I'm getting a little punished for not playing this as a power. But you never know what the top of your deck has in store for you, so sometimes that's how it goes.
I bear a message.
That's very unfortunate. So we might lose this game without getting to play. But that's just part of the game, so never feel too discouraged if it happens. All you have to do is just blame it on me. And cool, so I'm gonna play Torrent of Filth or Death Strike on their turn. And I think we're just gonna Death Strike this 3/3. It's not the greatest use of our removal, but we halved their clock there, so we're just trying to live here. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and shrink this guy. Not really the greatest use of our turn, but we gotta do something. And we'll play Mightweaver. It's not great, but it gives us something to Astrologer or something. It blocks. So it looks like we're dropping to 1. And we're dead. Cool. So, yeah, I definitely got punished for not pledging our Zealot there. But at the same time, I could have just drawn a bunch of power and not had anything going on, so never know what you're gonna get. And the next loss will knock us out, but that's okay. We'll keep playing. I'm gonna redraw this. We're looking for more power here. We have 4 power this time, so I don't think we'll get punished too bad for not pledging this. And so we'll go ahead and not pledge it again.
Focus, child.
Rest here, traveler.
If I attack, I might lose my guy here, and I don't want to, so we'll just end the turn. We can try and use our Torrent of Filth as a combat trick. Cool, yeah, so we're able to just kill this guy, and kill this other guy as well. And now that those 1-1s and 1-2s are out of the way, we'll go ahead and attack first, just see what they do. And then we'll play this Inferno Zealot. And he's able to attack kind of free, at least on this board.
Back to dust.
Yeah, I'm gonna play Astrologer and buff him, and then we'll attack. And that gives us a huge amount of life and just a healthy life total.
Rest here.
Something to work with. Yeah, we'll play our Sewer Crocodile and then actually play this Assault Shield. And we'll clear this blocker. And go back to attacking.
I see them.
Alright, so we're going to attack first here. And if our opponent opts to block, we can actually use this Assault Shield to finish off this flyer. And I'll go ahead and play Worldpyre here. You don't have to worry too much about what Worldpyre does. Especially now.
Rest and be well.
But, it's a fun card. And we'll go ahead and attack here. I don't mind this trade, I'll let it happen. And we'll play our Bane Wolf, and hopefully this can, close out the game for us. I'm gonna shrink their minion. Decay actually makes things smaller, so when we do that, it gets small enough that we can attack here. And one thing I can do is I can save this deputy for when I have a power, and if I draw another power now, it's not doing me much, but I can use this deputy to turn it into a treasure. So rather than just playing out the deputy and having it not do anything, we'll just hang on to it. We don't need to play our cards right away. And we'll wait till we can do something a little better with it. So yeah, our guy is unblockable, so we can attack for free here. And I'll go ahead and gun down his guy just because. And we'll end the turn here. Opponent not doing anything, so it's probably a win for us. Just to show you though, I can use this plunder effect just to see what it does.
Always a bigger gun.
And we'll play the treasure. And cool, so that actually represented more damage for us. Don't do that just to show. Hey, yeah, thanks for the Rinder Breeze. I'm not sure. Do you think they're gonna let you think they're gonna let me have the overlay on multiple accounts? Is that an issue? Let's go ahead and try and turn it on. Alright, one other thing while we're hanging out here. You're going to want to turn Smart Auto Pass off. It gives your opponent information. It can be helpful, but just like making games go faster, but what it'll do is it'll actually let your opponent know you don't have an interaction. So your chances to bluff just kind of go out the window. So we're going to turn this off. I'm going to disable totem interactions here. Sometimes people like to spam click the crap out of them, and it's very annoying. To me, at least. It's up to you. So I'm going to turn this off. And we'll turn advanced deck building on, but you don't really need this for now. And, yeah, we'll go ahead and go back. Yeah, so honestly, overlay just isn't gonna work on this account. So we'll keep cruising. Because it's already linked to my main account. Thanks for the follow, Vectix. Let me see, though. I'll have to check and make sure. But that'll be something I'll do off stream to figure out. I'll probably hop back on the main account. I wonder how he has it set up, because mine's set up between two different... I have two different Twitch accounts and two different email addresses being used here. But I'm streaming on my usual Twitch account, you know what I mean? So, I'm not sure how that affects things. We'll just play this Might Weaver here. Alright, so got options here. He's got this really big guy that's kind of annoying. So let's go ahead and attack here. And I'm just not going to do anything. We'll just fight and end the turn. Yeah, Chameleon. I left them up. I might try and make a video where I go through each ability. And that's why I haven't clicked on them yet. But so he's gonna silence and stun our guy. So I'm gonna devour in response. It doesn't really make a difference if I do it now or in response, but now I get to turn that guy into 2 cards. And, yeah, this 4/8's kind of annoying, so I'm going to play a Silverblade Reaper and try and block it. And I'll just keep attacking with this one. Cool, so he opted not to do anything. I think in this position, I need some power, so I'm going to use Eager Deputy.
Always a bigger gun.
And we're gonna turn Assault Shield into a power here. Oh yeah, it annoys me as well, but I want to be able to go through each one, and it's just a lot easier if I have them banished over here to the corner. If I could just disable them all, I probably would, but...
Feel the wind on your mane.
Order! Order!
Okay, so we'll play this power, and now our Elder Astrologer is gonna buff one of our units a ton. But we could also opt to do something else here. So what I'm gonna do, we'll attack with guess we're gonna just attack with we'll play our Astrologer and buff our flyer here. And this buffs our guy, gets some good damage in, and maybe next turn we can look to give something double damage.
Peace is its own reward.
Cool, so this actually represents lethal here, so what I'm gonna do is I can attack here. And we'll give this guy double damage. And we'll give this double damage as well. And then we'll buff our guy. And this is a very lethal attack here, if they don't do anything. And we take this win. Yeah. That would be pretty neat. So with that win, we actually unlocked one of the better chests, which is cool. And honestly, considering I don't play a lot of draft, I'm primarily a constructed player, it's cool to see the fact that we made it this far is surprising. We'll just keep going. Yep, I am primarily an Eternal streamer.
I'll find my way.
We are going through the new player process just to experience all of its glory. So I could give my guy double damage and like give this double damage, but I don't think it's worth it. Okay, cool. I plan on making a thorough guide where I go through each ability. But for now, I'm just going through the new player process and how I'd recommend streamlining it so that
I like turtles.
people can have an easier time. I don't want to trade my guy, so we're gonna attack here. Thanks for the follow, Cam.
Focus, child.
Yeah, I'm gonna let these guys hit me. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a fun game. So yeah, we'll go ahead and attack here. Am I not very loud? Our guy's getting bigger. Okay, so our guy's gonna be really small, but he'll still live, so I'll wait to cast Devour here. My character is not copyright at all. It's totally original. and not from anywhere. So since we drew this guy, I'm gonna give our bird double damage. Give this guy double damage as well. Yeah, Chameleon, that's always the big problem. It's, the question is, how do you cater to your existing diehard players while also making the game new and accessible for new players? And it's a hard question to answer, because at the same time, I think one of the best ways to do it is occasionally to allow for, you know, new exciting mechanics. But one of the things Eternal does well is, even though there's a lot of mechanics and a lot of stuff going on, at the same time, they have some abilities that are just grandfathered in. That, you know, you're always going to see stuff. Like, Exalted seems to be one of them. Killer seems to be one of them. Deadly seems to be one. Just abilities that will always be around. While at the same time having, you know... I'm just going to kill this, even though it's not the greatest. While at the same time, you know, we still do want new abilities and new stuff, like... Yeah, evergreen's the word. So... It's gonna attack here. I'm not gonna surge. Kind of a rough game. We're hoping to draw one of our threats here. That's true.
Every scrap counts.
Alright, so this actually represents a good bit of damage here. So the way Surge works is I play this, and for each influence I gain, I get some buffs here. And since he has 5 attack, I have double damage, so it's a pretty good chunk of health we're going to be taking off our opponent. Yeah, Imbue is certainly confusing, even for us. Imbue took a while to get used to. But Imbue is a... As confusing as Imbue was, it really was one of the better additions. Maybe not better, but just like... Imbue has a lot of play to it. There's not a lot... Imbue is very confusing, though, I'll give you that, but it is a very interesting mechanic, and it's the kind of thing that I like about Eternal. One of the things Eternal does, you know, obviously, at the end of the day, everyone's always going to be comparing Eternal to Magic the Gathering, right? Like, Magic the Gathering is always the card game that we're going to be comparing Eternal to. But one of the things Eternal does is being able to shift around stats the way that you can, and like have things keep permanent stats and look at temporary buffs. Like what Eternal does with the way like stats change in the Void, one of the reasons it's so confusing is it's unique. It's not something you're gonna see in any other game. Unless it's maybe a digital game stealing from Eternal. So I really like the way, even though some of the abilities are counterintuitive if you're coming from other games, that's just because they're so unique, it like wouldn't fit in any other box but Eternal. Which is kind of cool. It's nice to not just be playing some other clone. Shift is pretty good. Well, Reanimator's everywhere, but some combos are... Every game has Reanimator. Well, maybe not Hearthstone, but... Actually, Hearthstone has Reanimator too, never mind. I don't know if that's correct. We'll buff our guy. Yeah, Imbue's confusing. I'm not denying that, but once you've mastered Imbue, like once you understand the ins and outs of Imbue, it is a pretty cool mechanic. Despite how confusing it is a cool mechanic. Like it's not something we've seen before, and I think it's kind of neat.
There's always a bigger gun.
So I could try and trade with this 3/3. I don't think we're going to, though.
Let's see what you got.
And, alright, so... we're gonna go ahead and... gain a ton of life here. Give us a little bit of a nest egg to work with. I like Ally. I like what Ally allows them to do. One of the things... I don't want to get too into it in this guide, but Ally's an interesting mechanic for sure. I don't know when they stopped doing it, but you know, back in the day, Ally used to mean, okay, well, we want to give this unit a cool, strong ability, but we want to make sure that it's not just like the only thing they're doing and winning on their own. But at some point, that stopped. So now we just have cards that are just extremely strong. Oops. I forgot about that. Oh well. Now we have cards that are just really powerful and have abilities. And there's not really a downside to the ability. There's not really any play to it. It's just like, here's this ability. So I actually don't want to decimate this just yet so that I can play my Bane Wolf. I potentially could have tried for lethal there, but it's kind of risky, so we're not going to do that. I'm going to clear this blocker out of the way. And that'll be lethal. Doesn't matter what we grab. And we'll attack here for game. And we're going into our win and in. As you can see, we have 2 gold chests already, which is pretty sweet.
There's
I'm
always a bigger gun.
not gonna turn anything into a power here. I'll just keep everything. We have a pretty aggressive start here.
Throne awaits. Proud to serve.
So one thing I've probably not been doing a great job of here in this video, at this point, I basically know what most of these cards do already, so I haven't really been reading them and showing you or explaining stuff, so I'll try and do better with that, but yeah, that's just kind of why I haven't been scrolling over cards, is to just kind of know what everything does now. So this Midnight Hunt will just kill. Quick Draw means our unit will deal combat damage first, and because that card had Death or Revenge, we'll actually get to use it again soon.
Shields. My life for Argenport.
I mean, Echo Macto was a very challenging deck to play. It wasn't just face roll. But, I don't think they needed to delete it from the game. Like they did. I think maybe there could have been some happy ground instead of just deleting it from the game. Those of you curious as to what we're talking about, what people used to do is they try and give Echo to Revenge cards, and then you'd play Dark Return on the Revenge card, and it would draw 2, and then it would have 2 Revenge cards, and just, it got out of hand really fast. Here, I'm gonna give my guy double damage, just to get a better clock going. There was a guy named Connor who used to play it a lot.
By spell and steel.
Cool, so we're gonna attack again. And if they chump block, we can actually use our Rampage to make sure our damage still goes through. And I'll play this Reaper.
They will be punished.
I don't really have a good way to break through on combat here, so we'll just attack.
Let me see what I can do with it.
I'll go ahead and just attack here. I could potentially devour the crocodile, but I don't really need to risk losing the guy just yet. Not really getting any pressure on me, so just end the turn here.
My life for Argenport.
And yeah, we'll go ahead and invoke here. Clear his blocker. And that should be lethal. As more than a little lethal here. Alright, cool. And with that, we have completed our first forge, which is awesome. Go ahead and cash in these rewards. Getting some cool cards here. And leveling up, getting some more stuff, gave us a pack, sweet. And with that, we get this really sweet level up prize for Forge. And I'm gonna go ahead and claim this, and we'll see what we get here. So, as a new player, this is a freaking gold mine right here. I get 4 packs, all this nice gold, and one of the things I recommend, even if maybe you're not a super big draft player, or a really big Forge player, or you don't like limited formats in other games, at the very least, just, you know, knock out these first few ones, play a few gauntlets, play a few forges, get these ranked up. I am going to disregard that advice, but that is definitely something you can do if you want to build out your collection early on. And you can play, for example, I'm bronze now, so I can, if I win another draft or another gauntlet, I go silver, another one, gold, then diamond, and then master. So 4 more times and I can get those crazy rewards. Next up, for Forge, I can do this one as well 4 more times. Now this actually costs either gold or gems to enter, but as long as you're winning, if you win your Forge, you more than break even, and even if you don't win, it's still worth it because you get, let's say we open a pack, we're likely to get, you know, a rare, or maybe a legendary if you're lucky, and some cards. But from the Forge, we're basically opening 2 packs worth of stuff, and there's a pretty decent chance you get legends and stuff. But here's the thing, you get to pick what you get. So even though you're only taking home like 2, maybe 3 rares if you get lucky, you're picking the rare. Like, you get to pick what you keep, and that choice makes it worth it. And if you win, not only do you get those 2 rares, but you're taking home 4 packs, which represent maybe 4 more rares and 4 more chances to get a legend. So if you're trying to build your collection, we'll go ahead and open these packs. But if you're trying to build a collection, this is the way to kind of get started. And as we're opening packs, you'll see my dust is going up too, which is awesome. So not only are we getting cards, but we're getting raw dust. And with that, I can click here, and I can destroy my extra cards, which is okay to do. And cool. That'll end part 2. So part 1, playing the Gauntlet. Part 2, we won our first Forge. So that ends that, and we'll be moving on to dabbling in Throne and Draft. Hey guys, thank you for watching. This was the Forge intro. I go through how to play your first Forge. At this point, you have the choice of hopping into Draft or hopping straight into Constructed. For me personally, I choose to hop straight into the ladder at this point. We have a deck, we have enough of a collection to just start grinding ladder if we want to. And that is personally how I prefer to play the game. That's up to you. Later on, maybe I'll go through how to draft, but the next video will showcase how to take our Grenadine list, tune it up now that we've got some cash under our belt, and some dust and shiftstone, and we'll be using that to hop into the ladder. So look forward to that video. Thanks for watching.